Okay, so good morning ulit everyone. So we are now about okay, let's start our class. Okay, so Java operators and assignments. So this is for our lesson 3 topic. So let's continue. So contents of today's lesson will be unary operators, arithmetic, string, relational, conditional, logical, assignment, object, shift operators, bitwise evaluation, and primitive casting. Okay, so these are the things that we will be tackling today. So medyo mahaba-haba. Okay, so takeaway points. So uh, 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 at the end of the scores, you'll be able to analyze and identify the when and identify the when to use the different types of operator, use the different types of operators that we have in Java, familiar with the object shift and bitwise operator, identify the order of evaluation which changes its precedence and demonstrate how to cast primitive data types. It's how I the whole. So let's proceed. So So at the end of the session, you'll be able to analyze, identify when the different kanina. So, okay. So let's start with the unary operator. Okay. So when we say unary operator, what is a unary operator, bro? Hmm? Anyone? Meron bang idea what is a unary operator? Anyone? When oh, C++, when you say unary operator, what does it mean? Hello, patay. Okay. So when we say unary operator is the use of only one operand. Okay, one operand. Now, what is a one operand? It means increment by one, decrement by one, positive sign, negative sign. Okay, so as you can see, plus plus, usually ginagamit natin plus plus sa mga looping statements natin, di ba? So when we say plus plus, it means it's going to increment by 1, minus minus, it's going to be decrement or minus 1. And then we also have the positive sign for plus and the negative sign minus. Right? These are our unary operators. Now, for example, okay, example, we have here a simple Java code. As you can see, we have here an uh, integer num. Its value is 10. So if we're going to print, okay, first we're going to print out system out print line decrement. Okay, now if you're going to print a system out num increment plus plus num, what would be the value? Anyone? What would be the value of this one? What would be the value if it's going to be uh, plus plus num? Okay, tahimik kayong lahat. Sige, makapagtawag na. Okay, so let's see. How about Mr. Ahmad? Ahmad Jan Abubakar. Okay,
Sa first one, sir, mag-increase siya by 1 kasi po yung basically yung minimin po nung increment is there will be an increase in number by 1. So sa first out po mag-increase siya by 1 which means it will output 11. Sa next one will be 12 until the end po kung pang ilang plus plus na meron po.
okay. Sige. Okay. So actually, meron tayong problema dito. Okay? So this is actually plus. Okay. Tama yung sinabi kanina ni Mr. Abubakar. The only problem is since sa susunod. So the first system output is going to be 11. However, the next one is going to be just 10. Why is it 10? First, if you're going to look at the the code above, it's just a print. It's just a print syntax. It's not a holder. So, ibig sabihin, if you're going to place plus plus num in a system printout line, it's going to output 11. However, it will not carry over the value of 11. It will still carry the value of 10, which is given dun sa int num10 natin. Klaro? Magke-carry over lang siya sa 11 if this plus plus num was given to a variable or yun nga, tama, into pag binigay natin sa variable. So since it was just based on a print line command, it will not be carried. So pagbaba niya dito, value niya is still going to be 10. Now, dito naman tayo sa kabila. So it's going system out. Mapapansin niyo ano to? Are you familiar with pre-increment and post-increment? Pre and post-increment? Okay. So, malamang hindi. Okay. So, pre-increment means once you implement the increment, the changes on the value will immediately reflect. For example, dito, this is pre-increment. So, plus plus sa harap. Ibig sabihin, if the value is going to be shown, it's going to be immediately be 10. 11. But however, dito sa baba, for the num plus plus, okay, this is a post decrement. Ibig sabihin, the value will show later. So if you're going to run this will give you a value of 10. Pero after showing, the increment 1 will now be carried so that if this is going to be shown, the num, it's going to be 11. Klaro? Nagets ba hindi? Okay, so for example, output here is going to be, as you can see, it's going to be 11, 10, 10, 11. So for the post increment, it will not show immediately what was the change. It will not reflect the changes immediately, but the changes will be shown on the next time na gagamitin yung variable or yung num. Klaro ba tayo doon? Nagets ang difference ng post tsaka pre-increment? So there's a difference by putting the plus sign sa harap and sa likod. Klaro tayo dyan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So same with
Yes, sir.
sa setting signs. So you are familiar with this one. If you're going to place plus, it's going to indicate that it is positive, and then sa negative naman minus. Okay. So let's proceed. So next we have arithmetic operators. So ano nga ba si arithmetic operators? Sure you're familiar with this one already. So arithmetic operators are used for basic mathematical operations. So if you're going to conduct or have a mathematical operation sa mga codes niyo, we use the arithmetic. So we have 5. Can you tell me what are those 5 symbols? Okay. Kim Philip. What are the 5 symbols na meron tayo for arithmetic operators? Hello, Mr. Kim Philip?
Sorry sir. Kung addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, tapos, ano yung isa? I forgot the other one, sir.
Okay. The last one is actually modulo. Okay? Modulo. So, we have the 5. So, yan. Tama yung sabi ni Philip. So, it's actually addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo division. So, ano ang pagkakaiba na, what does modulo do? It's actually just a division. Division, the only difference is instead of carrying the quotient, kinukuha niya is yung quotient o difference. Okay? Nakalimutan ko na. But instead of getting that, it's getting the remainder. Okay? Remainder yung kinukuha niya. So, for example, again, we have here a sample code that you can use para mas klaro sa atin. So, if you're going to calculate system, okay, we have 15 or the value we assign the value 15 to num1 and 10 to num2. So if you're going to write system out print num plus num2, it's going to give us what value? Anyone? Give us 25. Okay? The next one is actually minus 2. Di ko alam ba't di nag-reflect lumabas yung minus. Okay? So this will give us a value of 5 and then 150 and then 1 and then value of 5. So if we're going to print that, basic. Okay? So I know you're already familiar with this one, so di natin magtatagal dito. Okay? May questions pa regarding this one? May tanong? Wala.
Wala po,
Questions
sir.
regarding... Okay.
None, sir.
Basic na lang sa inyong arithmetic. So next time we'll head to string operators. Okay, so for string operators, this is okay. String operators uses the keyword kumbaga. Okay, so if you want to add two strings together, okay, for example, a string and a text or a variable or a string, you need to use a string operand. Okay, so okay, so for example, you would like to use the string ito tayong gamit. Let's just use a sample given. Okay, so we have here string first name Josephine, last name Santos, middle MIT. Okay, if you want to print out the full name, then ang mangyayari is will be full name is equal to L name, the concat symbol or the string operand, we call this the concatenation symbol, yung plus. So last name concatenate and then string, which is the comma or yung gusto mong ilagay additional para may format siya or presentable naman yung paglabas or pagprint sa string natin. And then first name, concat again, space, and then concat again for plus, and then MI. So I guess you're already familiar with this one. And then string nickname is going to be Jesse. So if we're going to print the full name, my full name is, and then whatever. So ito yung makukuha natin na output. Okay? So, may questions ba regarding string operators? Nagets ba si string operators?
Nuggets, sir.
Okay. Kalimutan ko. What was the concatenation symbol sa C++? Plus din ba ang ginagamit? Or end? Ano yung concat symbol na ginagamit natin sa C++? Anyone? Hello? What was the concat symbol that we use sa C++? Anyone? Patay. Okay, sige. Let's just move on. Okay? So next, we have relational operators. So ito yung medyo nakakahilo na. Okay? So when we say relational operators, these are operators or relational operators are used to compare values Boolean. Boolean values cannot be compared with non-Boolean. So ibig sabihin, we can only use relational operators if we are going to it can only be used on Boolean values. So take note, Boolean. How can a variable be a Boolean? It should have a Boolean data type. Claro? So Boolean data types only hold two values, which is true and false. Claro tayo doon? So the object references are checked for equality and not their state. Claro? And then objects cannot be compared with null. Okay. Question. What is the difference between 0 and null? Anyone? Okay. What is the difference between 0 or blank or 0 and null? Anyone? Wala. Okay. So null, 0 is a value. Okay. It is still an integer. Claro, 0 is an integer. Null means empty. So when we say 0, it's still a value. Ibig sabihin, kukuha pa rin siya ng memory sa natin. Since it is a 0 data type, kukuha pa rin siya ng value sa memory natin pag nilala natin. What with null, since empty, walang siyang kukunin. Okay? Same with this one. So, if you're going to place yung ano lang, double string na ganyan, na walang laman, it's still considered as a string. Klaro? So, that is not a null. Klaro tayo? So, what are the different types na meron tayo? Yan. Okay? So, we have less than or equal to, greater than equal to, equal, not equal. Okay? So, these are actually the types of relational operators na ginagamit natin for if else, loopings, and etc. Every time we're going to place conditions. Right? So, we use this type of relational operators. Okay? So, how do we use them? For example, this one. Yeah. Okay, so we have here some sample code. Okay, so when we say string num1 is Marlon, is another is gave him another data type which is int, or the weight is 140, height is 74. Now we also created a new variable for a person which is Katie, and also gave her a weight of 124 and a height of 78. Okay, so now we're going to have a boolean is light. Okay, we will be declaring a new boolean which is named is light. So what is going to happen here is it's going to compare. Okay, so is weight 1 less than weight 2? So whatever the value is will be given to the variable is light. Okay, and then next we have is light EQ. EQ stands for equal. Okay, so equal, so less than or equal. Claro? So what is the value for is light? Anyone? Given the sample code, what is going to be the value for is light? Hello?
True, sir.
Hello?
True po, sir.
Okay. Sige, sige. Tawag na lang tayo ha. So, okay. So for the boolean is light variable, we have the condition weight 1 less than weight 2. Given the values, what is going to be the value of is light? Can you tell me? Sino ba dito? Ahmad. Ito. Si Ahmad. Ahmad Abdurrahim.
False, sir. False.
Okay, very good. It's actually going to be false. Why false? Because as you can see, weight 1 or weight 2 is less than the value of weight 1. Kaya naging false. Claro? So, kaya siya naging, tama, kaya siya naging false. Now, how about for is light equal? Okay? Or is light EQ? What is the value? Can we have Miss Christelle Lay? Christelle Lay. What is the value? Miss Christelle? Are you there, Miss Christelle? Pang wala. Okay, let's move on. How about Eric, Vincent, Rasad?
False, sir.
It's actually false then. Very
False.
good. Okay, so, okay, very good. It's false then. Okay, so we have here a system or a print line saying it will now is the name, who is name 1? Name 1 is Marlon, and then the word lighter than, this is a string, lighter than, and then name 2 is KT, and then equal to the value if is light, which is false. Okay, and then now we also have this lighter than equal, same lang, EQ is still false. So, nagigets ba dito kung paano to anong ginagawa dito? Klaro ba? So, if you're going to print the output here, as you can see, ito yung magiging output ng code natin. So, smart loan letter is false, and then literal. Nagets ba kung paano nakuha to or paano nakuha yung relational operators? Relational operators, sine-check lang nila ang mga values na meron or mga states na meron. Okay? Again, you can only perform relational operators on Boolean values. Klaro? Question so far before we proceed? Wala? Nagets? Tuloy lang ba tayo? Again, if you have troubles, di klaro, kindly let me know para mas maka-clear out natin. Okay? So, since wala, let's move on. Next, we have conditional operators. Okay? So, conditional operators are ternary operators. Provides a handy way to code simple if-else statements and single expression. It is known as the conditional operator. Okay? See, we have here, if condition is true, then expression 1 is returned as the result of operation. If condition is false, then expression 2 is returned as the result of the operation. Typical if-else statement, okay, can be nested to accommodate chain of condition. So when we say nested means there is another if-else or there will be a conditional operator inside the conditional operator. Okay, it can be implemented. So for example, we have a syntax. So condition, experience 1, experience 2. So for example, we have this. Okay, so simple to. Okay, so we have here int y is for the year, is for the month, dd is for the date. So as you can see, we have here string mm string m equals 2, mm equals 1, and then we have the condition 1 equals 2. Okay, so nakikita nyo naman, no? Sige, diyan para ano lang. Okay, what will be the output for this one? Sige nga. Can anyone tell me what would be the output for this one? Anyone? Raise your hand if you want to answer. Ano yung lalabas sa code natin? What would be the print line output? Raise your hand if you want to answer. Anyone? Wala. Okay, si Ahmad. What would be the output?
Output, sir, I was born on September 22, 1981.
Okay, September. Medyo inano ka, kinulang ka. Okay? Okay, actually, it's actually November, hindi September. Okay? It's actually Okay. It's actually October because as you can see, equals 10. Lalabas kasi, can you see yung question mark? The expression is going to be doon sa after the question mark. Kasi is the condition, di ba? equal 10 is the condition. So if that is true, the question mark, after the question mark, that would be the expression. Okay, so malapit na sana. Okay, so the answer is I was born on October 22, 1981. So medyo tama na yung ano mo. Nandun ka na. Okay, na short lang. Nahilo ka lang siguro doon sa mga conditions. Okay? So yun. Klaro ba tayo doon? Paano nakuha? Again, paano nakuha yun? It's simple. String m or yung MMM na condition natin was given a value. Okay? Whatever the value of MMM or MM is going to have a value MMM. Okay? So magkakaroon tayo ng bagong value. Okay? Meron tayong bagong string which is MM. And it will now rely on the value of MM which is the month. Okay?
Now, binigyan natin siya ngayon ng conditional operator. If the value of mm, for here, so first, if the value of mm is equals to 1, then give the value mmm dyan. If it's 2, then give FEB. If 3, give MAR. And so on hanggang dumating tayo sa 12, which is December. So since it's 10, so it's going to be October. Klaro? Nagets hindi? Paano nakuha? Okay, question. Anyone? May mga tanong? Before we proceed? Nagets ba kung paano? Okay. So moving on. So we have here, I was born on October 22, 1981. Yan. So next we have logical operators. Okay. So logical operators are used to compare Boolean expression. Yan. So exclamation is inverts a Boolean value. When you say invert, pinapalitan niya yung value. Okay? So evaluate both operands and evaluate operators condition. So we have here not and or XOR and then circuit and circuit OR. May subject na ba kayo na ano? Have you tackled yung mga truth tables? So, have you tackled yung subject about truth tables? Meron na ba? Wala pa?
Meron po, sir.
Yes, sir. Meron po,
Meron.
sir.
Okay, this is actually madali na lang to say. Okay, very good. So, madali na lang to para sa inyo lahat intindihin ngayon. So, we have here the logical operators. Okay, so option 1, option 2, as you can see, we have false, false, true, true, false, false, true, false, true. So, given if this is the value, we will have here ano yung magiging output niya. So, for example, if false, false is given to not, okay, this is not, it's going to be true. And then if false true, it's going to be true, and so on. So you're already familiar with this one. Familiar na kayo sa truth table, di ba? So, intindihan, do I still have to discuss this or hindi na? It's still truth table, nagbago lang is yung mga symbols nila. Okay? So, para maklaro sa symbols, these are the symbols. Exclamation is not, and is and, or is yung line lang, XOR is yung pataas, and is circuit, short circuit, and line, short circuit, or. Okay? So, again, pinapalitan lang nila yung value. Klaro? So, eto, papansin niyo dito, paano siya? Kukunin niya yung option, not option 1. So, kukunin niya yung value ni option 1, and then it will invert the value. So, this one will be true, this one will be true, true, false, false. Kaya nakuha to. And then for this one, okay, and operator for and is actually multiplication. So, multiplication ba? Yes, multiplication. So, both options or both values should be positive or true for it to be true. So, as you can see here, true is equals to true. If there is only one, if there is a false on the option, it immediately becomes false. So, false, false, it will become false, false, true, false, false. Claro? For an or naman, if either one has a true value, it becomes true. So, false, false equals to false. Since my true, there is a true, false, true, true, magiging true. True, false, since my true, magiging true. True, true, most probably true. Claro? Okay. Next, for short circuit, ano to? For this one, ano ba? Wait lang ha. Ano to? XOR. Sige. For XOR naman, ang gagawin niya is XOR option 1, option 2. For XOR, I think it has to be, dapat magkaiba yung value sila. They should not have the same value. Okay? So for example, false is going to be false because both values are the same. Same with true, kaya naging false. But if each magkaiba, if they don't have the same value, then that's the time na nagiging true siya. Klaro? And okay, so for this one naman, for and na ano, it's just the same with ano, and true. Okay. So, iko na, ayun, I know baka familiar na kayo dito. Sige. So, let's just proceed with the sample code. Yeah. Okay, so now this is the sample code. Okay. So, we have here some conditions. Okay. So, yan. So, ginamitan natin ng mga operators. So, we have year service, perform rate, and then salary. And then, ginamitan natin sila ng, we created another variable. One is for regular. Okay, so this for regular, for supervisor, for manager, executive, and top executive, they are all Boolean variables, as you can see sa declaration natin sa taas. And then for regular, we give them a value of year service should be greater than 1. Okay, if this is going to be true, okay, then check this is an and sign. Okay, so for this all to be true, this all needs to be true para maging true si regular. If neither of these is going to be false, then regular is going to be false as well. Claro? Same with supervisor. If this is all n, so all of these conditions should be met as well. Years of service should be more than 5. Perf rate should be greater than 85. Position should be R, and salary should be less than 15,000. Okay? So you get the idea here. Okay, ganito natin ginagamit yung logical operators. So if we're going to sum it up, okay, so yan. So are you a candidate for promotion, etc., etc.? Sige, let's start. Sige. Is promoted. Okay, let's start with is promoted. Okay, so is promoted. Well, this is promoted. Okay. Okay. So, or ang ginagamit natin is or. Okay? So, can anyone give me ano yung magiging value ni promoted? Is promoted since we are using or. So, in or, if one, kahit isa lang is true, it immediately becomes true. Okay, so if any one of this is true, of these Boolean values is true, it now becomes true. So first, let's go to for regular. So for regular, is this true? Years of service greater than 1. So this, you have 8. So this is true. Perf rate greater than 80. You have 86. So true. Position equals P. This is going to be so no. Okay? So hindi. So salary greater than, less than true. Okay? So next for supervisor, this is true. And then so dito dito siya mahuhulog kay manager. Okay? Sa managerial. Okay? So, nagigets niyo bang idea dito? Nakakasunod ba kayo, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So, natin isa-isa
Yes,
para
sir.
kasi familiar naman din kayo dito. So, if you're going to run this one, you'll get the value of true. Yan yung makukuha niya. Okay? Sige. So, if you have problems here, we can run it later lang ulit para mas klaro. Okay? So, proceed lang tayo. Next, we have assignment operators. argument operators are used with set of values of a variable. Yan. Okay? So you have assign, add and assign, subtract and assign, subtract, assign, etc. So yan, those are the things that you have. So sino ang nakagamit na ng mga ganitong operators? Meron bang gumagamit ng ganitong operators pag nagko-code sa inyo? Noong C++? Meron ba? Wala? Sige, let's move on. Okay? So, for here we have this example. Okay? So, double unit rate is 120, quantity 2, sales amount. Okay? We have also a double. So, sige. Okay? Can anyone tell me saan yung gross? Okay. We have unit sale equals to sales unit equals to unit price times quantity. Gross sales is equals to sales amount. Okay, so how do we get the sales amount? Is going to be sales amounts quantity times unit price. What is the unit price? Is actually 120. If you're going to times it by quantity, which is 2, what is going to be our gross sales? Anyone? What is the gross sales?
40, sir.
40, sir.
Okay, it's going to be 240. Now, how about tax? Anyone? Compute for tax? What is the value for tax? Raise your hand if you want to answer. What would be the value for tax?
$60, sir.
Hello? Ano, what was the answer?
150, sir.
150, medyo malayo-layo tayo ng konti sa 150. Okay? Okay, clue, it's less than 100 for the tax. Anyone? Raise your hand if you want to answer.
60, sir.
60, di pa rin.
10, sir.
Ha? Ano yan?
10.
It's, ano? Actually, the tax is 20. Tax is, actually, it's 24. Okay, 24. So, asan na ba yun? So, yung mga system o tila. Wait lang. Your sales, hindi para sa tax. At wala yung sa tax. Okay, this is the tax. So, okay. Okay, so first, ito gagawin natin dyan. What is the value for VAT rate? Paano natin nakuha yung 24? Okay, VAT rate is equals to 10. Now, you'll use that value and divide it by 100. So, VAT rate is now still 10. So, now, sales amount is, ano yung sales amount natin? 2 point at 140. Tama ba? Sales amount natin. So, sales amount is 240. And then, VAT rate is 10. Okay? So, 2,000 plus. And then,
Sir,
wait lang, may mali ito.
sir, yung
Ha?
VAT rate po, sir, 0.1. Kasi po, dinivide po siya sa taas.
Oo. Wait lang. Oo. It's going to be, ano pala, since it's going to be 10 divided by 100, not 100 divided by 10. So it's 0.1, tama. Sorry for that correction, kaya pala nahihilo ako. Okay, so it's 0.1. So 0.1 times 240, it's going to be 24. Okay, now sales amount is going to be plus sales amount plus, it's going to be plus VAT amount. Okay, so, since VAT amount is equals to none, walang value yung VAT amount natin. So, carry yung 24. Kaya nakuha yung 24 para sa tax. Klaro ba? Nagets? Paano yung sa tax?
Hindi, sir.
Okay, okay, ulitin natin. Di lang nalabas yung system out dito. So, okay. So, VAT rate is equals to, ibig sabihin kasi ng slash is equal is whatever the value of that value, it has to be used, for example, ito, VAT rate equal, divided by equals 100. So the value of 100 of VAT rate should be divided by 100. So 10 divided by 100 is going to be 0.1.
Okay. Tapos ano yung sunod? Naka-mute po yung mic niyo, sir.
Ay, okay, yan. Pasensya. Kasi nakita niyo pa, natakpan pala yung code kanina, kaya di niyo nakikita. Okay, so again, divide equals, what it simply does, it's going to get the value of the variable VAT rate, which is 10, and then divide it by 100. So answer here is 0.1. Now we're going to take that 0.1 and use it to multiply sa amount ni sales value, which is 240. Yung kinumpute nyo kanina, si sales amount, 240, di ba? So it's going to be divided, multiplied to VAT rate, which is 0.1, and now it will give you the value 24. Di ba? 24. Now, 24 is going to be added. So VAT amount, si VAT amount is 24. So plus equals is going to be, it's going to get the amount of the sales amount and then plus add it with the value of the VAT amount and then give it to the variable sales amount. Gets? Para ba kung ano yung parang nag-add lang, or you're going to get the value of a variable and then add it to the value of VAT amount, and then the resulting value will be given ulit dun kay sales amount. Gets niyo? So the value of sales amount will be added sa value ni VAT amount, and then whatever sum is, it will now be given ulit kay sales amount. Ganun yung mangyayari. So since sales amount has a value of 0, if you're going to add it sa VAT amount, which is 24, still 24 pa rin ang answer. And then that 24 will be given kay sales amount. And then that sales amount is now you're going to be your tax. Nagets hindi?
Gets, sir.
Okay, sige, sige. Very good. Sige. Now, how about try to get the value of, ano ba? Sige. Try to get the value of discount. Sige. Saan ba yung discount natin? Ayun. Ayan, andyan pala si discount. Sales account divided by disc rate. Discount rate. Sige, what would be the, what would be the discount? So for the discount.
Ako muna sa ICS. Sige.
Sir,
Okay, Amajan, what was your answer?
36% po.
36, medyo malapit-lapit na konti. Okay? Anyone? Meron ba bang ibang sagot? Aside from 36?
3 po, sir, 36.
36. Nakuha ko kasi is 39.6.
Oh,
Okay? So medyo malapit. Yung mga iba, ano yung mga nakuha ninyo? Sinusolve nyo rin ba o hindi? Okay? So let's try to see paano nakuha yung discount. Okay? For discount, ito. So let's have this rate which is 15. So 15 divided by 100, what will be the value? Anyone?
0.15 po.
0.15 pa rin?
0.15, sir.
0.15?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll
0.15,
have,
sir.
okay, sige. So sales amount is, ano yung sales amount natin kanina is 24. So 24 times 0.15 is, ano?
3.6.
3.6,
3.
sir.
Okay. So,
Wait. Right.
so, yun. Kita nga, may mali yata. Parang may mali sa code na to. Sige. Okay, balikan natin mamaya. So, sige. So, this is the answer na meron tayo, no? So, again, let's just try to see kung paano siya nakuha mamaya. So, proceed muna tayo kasi baka kulangan tayo ng time. Okay? So, yan. So, moving on muna tayo, ha? Ito, kasi medyo malayo pa. So, next, meron tayong object shift bitwise operators. Yan. So, object operators are used to manipulating objects. So, shift operators are used in shifting bits. And then bitwise operators are used for manipulating bits. Okay, so we have here object creation, so dot. And then we have array operation, then instance of, and then casting. Yan, so yan yung mga shifters na meron tayo. So mapapansin nyo yung dot ginagamit natin para gumawa tayo ng bagong operators. Okay, so we also have shift, left shift, right shift, and then right shift positive. Then NOR and XOR. So these are the things na meron tayo. Okay? Yan. So usually later on pa natin talaga gamitin yung mga yan. Okay? So moving on tayo sa casting. Casting is a converting from one data type to another. Also known as okay, parsing. Okay, so ginagamit natin, casting is also known as parsing, wherein pinapalitan natin isang data type into a different data type. Okay, convert. So implicit casting is implied casting operations. So explicit casting is required casting operations. Okay. So we have here, first we have primitive casting. Okay, is converting a primitive data type into another. So, iba. So, usually, meron tayong widening, narrowing. So, widening, tumataas yung value niya. Narrowing, bumababa yung value. So, preference casting is converting a preference data type into another. So upcasting is conversion of the inheritance and hierarchy. Downcasting, conversion down the inheritance hierarchy. So this inheritance, ano na yan sila? Object-oriented na yan. Kaya medyo bago sa inyo, okay? So we'll be discussing inheritance as we go on later on. Okay? So we have here casting between primitives and reference type is not allowed. So pag primitive lang ang casting niya. Reference lang din. Okay? So in Java, casting is implemented using the open and close brace or bracket symbol or operator. So here, meron tayo. Okay? So for example ng casting, if you have widening, tumataas yung value. For example, if you have byte and then it's going to be converted into a higher like short, int, long, float, double, that is widening. Narrowing, bumababa ang value, ibig sabihin, so from double, bababa ka papuntang byte. So, yun yung widening and narrowing. Okay? So, primitive data types, data types represent atomic values are built into Java. So, we have 8 primitive data types. You're familiar with this one already. So, these are the values na meron tayo para kay primitive data type. You have to know kung hanggang saan lang. So, Boolean, true, false lang, 1, 0. For char, yan, string mga na yan. So, for byte, you only have negative 128 to plus 128. Okay? So, dito yung nangyari kay dito nagkaroon ng problema si YouTube. So I think they only use a value int para dun sa number of views nila sa videos watch sa YouTube. Tapos may isang video na nag-exceed sa maximum value na pwedeng hawakan ni int. So nagkaroon ngayon ng problema. So what YouTube has to do now is kailangan nila palitan lahat ng integer value into a bigger number. Like siguro long or long. Kailangan nila gamitin sa long para mas marami yung mas malaki yung value na pwede hawakan. Okay? Klaro ba tayo dito? Are there questions regarding this one?
Klaro, sir.
Okay. So next we have operations. So primitive casting roles. So we have arithmetic, relationship, and etc. Ayan. So for example here, okay. So we have short age, and then okay, and okay. So we have here yan. So you have here short age 20, char 6M, etc. etc. So how do we change the value? So here we have IQ. Okay, we have IQ is a byte data type. So papansinin niyo byte si IQ. But then the value that is going to be given to him is an integer, which is height. Okay, so most probably this will not really work. Okay, if you go, you cannot give a value ng integer into a byte. But what you can do is to cast them. So ibig sabihin, if you're going to place the casting symbol and then place the type of data type that you want to use, and then it will now give that the value of height to IQ in a byte data type format. Okay, so that is now possible. Also, for example, sex. Example for sex, it's sex. If you're going to give the value money, which is a double, if you're going to, it will now cast the money 500, it will now become a character. Gets ba kung paano ginagamit ang casting? Anyone? Nagets ba kung paano? Hello? Klaro ba ang casting? Hindi.
Yes, sir.
Klaro, sir.
Okay, so ganun lang. Okay, ganun lang
Opo,
yung
sir.
casting.
Klaro po, sir.
If you need to change, kailangan niya ibigay yung value sa isang variable na magkaiba yung data type nila, so pwede nyo ngayong gawan ng paraan para ma-pass nyo pa rin yung value. Okay, that is casting. Okay, so with that, that would be the end of today's topic, which is lesson 3. So just a summary, okay, you are now able to use unary arithmetic operators for basic mathematical operations, use string operators, relational, conditional, logical, boolean, assignment, and get familiar with object, shift, bitwise operator. Java evaluates operator in order to precedence. Casting, overthink. Casting means converting one data type to another. And as it say, high thoughts must have high language. Aristotle. Okay, so